Guys, I just first want to apologize for last night's delayed presentation. Robbie's on a whirlwind travel, and unfortunately, I don't know if you know much from going international, or especially Asia Pacific, where there's a lot of internet that's stopped or prevented or not allowed to jump, we call it over the wall. So every once in a while we get in a Wi-Fi restricted area, be it what he calls the lab or any of our other travels. So Robbie had a minute and put up an Instagram video of some of the stuff that he has been doing and some of the parts and everything that you can see. But that's on Robbie's Instagram. So today I want to go through a lot of what I've learned over the last 2 weeks of where we are, what we've done, and answer many of the questions that our customers have been asking. So at the end of this, I'm going to allow Facebook. I'll just switch over to the Facebook feed, and any of your questions that you come up with, I'll try to answer as many direct questions as I can. If they're redundant and you get on this feed late, I won't be answering the same question twice, but I'll try to answer as many as possible. I know this is midday, but it is 4th of July weekend. I'm hoping everyone has a great time and gets to celebrate the 4th with their families. So I'm trying to get this done early so I can actually get some dinner with friends and family this evening. So it will always be up. This is posted to both the YouTube, our Facebook channels. So to just get on with it. So what has been happening? Let's just go through where we are and what's been happening over the last, let's call it 3 weeks of testing. So let's just go back till September. You get to see pre-production cars. Those pre-production cars, they run off the assembly line. Production parts are made, or pre-production parts are made and get tested. Through that, there's a ton of validation. We had feedback from our customers on some quality control things, be it welds and so forth, which were primarily cosmetic. We found some things from testing, be it the door latches we wanted to relocate. We found some additional horsepower in our clutching and so forth, horsepower to the ground, not engine horsepower. We were able to work on winch mounts and just tons of different things. And then you validate all those new pieces. So a lot of it was we wanted to upgrade the gear shifter, so it was a more seamless ability to change gears. So we make those changes, the new production parts come in, we put them in our test cars, we make those updates, and if they're valid, we move forward. So once we've done all that you got to see over the last 6 months in September, it's been, 8 months, whatever it has been, then we kick off production. We did that, I think it's been 3-4 weeks now, we kicked off production. And when we kick off production, you still have to validate those parts. So part of why we're traveling so much is to make sure, in a lot of cases we have multiple suppliers. And I'll give you an example of what happened to us. We send the prints to multiple suppliers. We have minimum order quantities and lead times, and that allows us, if one supplier runs short, we have another supplier that has product coming. If you look at what's happening in today's market, these single source suppliers have prevented a lot of manufacturers from shipping vehicles. So having multi-source, you have a better chance of always fulfillment. Also, if someone goes down or a product has a failure, you can track to that supplier. So I'll give you a great example. We sent prints on our clutches to 2 separate manufacturers. Both clutches came back. One was identical to print. One had been changed to make manufacturing better. Both worked flawlessly. Problem for me is I can't sit there and handle manufacturing warranty claims or understand where product is in supply chain. If these 100 clutches that came from supplier A are different, how do I get you a warranty part? Does the cam arm work differently? All the different pieces of clutch, if they're not identical, it makes it even more difficult for me to warranty exchange or give you service parts that wear out. So that process of validating the different supplier parts is what Rob's had the ability to do. I think today or tomorrow he goes and validates all the shocks or parts of the shocks, and hopefully we get some recordings of what he's going to do, so you can kind of show more in depth of the QC process we have to put in place to make sure the product that we are ordering is what we are receiving, and also that product is continually the same product. And that happens in supply chain. You order one thing one day and the next day it's something different. So a lot of that is what we're validating. No, we're not validating parts, we're validating that what we ordered is what we're getting. Rob has been able to, in the process, show you some of the more fit and finish work that's been done in the cars. And I talk to Rob, I don't know how many hours a day, and it's really amazing to see the excitement and passion he has for this vehicle. And I mean, he even paid Mason Motorsports a comment. He goes, "This is as good as a new Mason Motorsports trophy truck." And I sat there thinking, why isn't it as good as his trophy truck? But his trophy truck's, I think, 13 years old with updates, where a brand new Mason has a lot, and Neil and the guys at Mason do a phenomenal thing. So when Robbie starts paying other people comments on their quality, fit, and finish, it only is a testament to what we're building, because he's speaking highly of other people. So I'm going to get on to what I think is the most concerned question I get every single day, and that is production update. Sorry, Carla just came down here and she has the audio on so I can hear myself talking in delay. But production updates. We want to talk about, or the question comes up every time, where are we in production? Why are we delayed or whatever? So I think I should cover to you why we are where we are today. And our goal, which seems to be very much on track, we said late August, early September for delivery, is to have cars to consumer no later than Sandsport Super Show, and then finish deliveries to consumer before the end of the year. So we are on track with supplier, with production and everything, to make sure 3,500 to 4,000 customers get cars before the end of the year. We're also on track to make if you thought Sandsports last year was a pretty impressive venue for us to display at, I think you'll be blown away what we do this year. There's some things that are out of our control, so I can't control everything that's going to happen. I can just tell you what we are planning, and the ability for customers to come to Sandsports and receive their cars and be excited about what we have. I'd be thrilled if I had 150 cars at Sandsports with your name on it and it says "Do not touch," sold to Todd Romano. That'd be amazing. But so that is our goal. Everything I hear from Rob, everything I see in production parts, we are on track for that. We will continue to keep people up to speed on if that changes. We've been very good about sharing our delays or concerns or anything, but I know for us, for the industry, for our consumers, Sandsports is a very hard start date for us, because it's just the onset of the season. It's the end of the season for where I live, for the people up here in Utah, Idaho, Colorado. A lot of our season reps up to an end. But for the three western states, Arizona, Nevada, Southern California, it's a very big part. Oregon, Washington, we're going to be there later this summer. I do believe they have more of an annual riding season, so a lot of those customers I won't be as missed out. But as we visited all these dealers and we learn about the production issues with other manufacturers, I don't think anymore does it even matter when you get your vehicle, as long as you can actually get one. I'll go into that later. So I hope that answers a lot of your production. When am I getting my car updates? Obviously, there's master numbers questions. There's what four-seaters are going to be built first. When's the El Diablo or the Bandit? Guys, I don't have any of those answers today. We have another meeting on that, and all that comes down to, as we learn, the cycle of the manufacturing and the cycle of the changing over of the assembly line. So as we know more about what cars are going to be evolving on the assembly line, we'll be able to contact you with those dates. One of the most important things about those dates is about 30 days prior to us knowing your car is going to be built, you're going to get a phone call from us telling your expected delivery date, finalizing whatever's left if you needed warranty or things that you haven't acquired. All those different pieces happen at that time. Your financing, if you're going to pay direct, anything you want to know, that happens the next 30. So if you have any questions later in this show about, I'm master number 654, four-seater, when am I getting a car? I don't have your answer, but I will have your answer in about 30 days, because here in about 30 days, we're going to have to start calling you and setting up your delivery schedule. Is it being delivered to a local dealer? Are you picking it up at Havasu? Are you one of the fortunate people who are going to get it at Sandsports? All those pieces play a role, and you'll see that, because if we're going to deliver cars in September, people are going to get a call in August. So hopefully you start receiving your phone calls. If you haven't received your buyer's order, please contact us. Everybody should have seen their buyer's order. Those buyer's orders are what we send to the factory. I just did an export out of our CRM software. It's like 3,800 customers that we are submitting to the factory, because it doesn't, building 150 cars on the first run or 1,000 cars on the second run, we get through 3,500, 4,000 cars instantly. And then from there, we switch over to all our pre-order dealer orders. There are dealers. People ask me this question: are there dealers in these first 3,000, 4,000 cars? Absolutely, there are. We've had a lot of dealers, and I'll pay compliments to Edge Power Sports, who is a phenomenal dealer here in Salt Lake, who ordered a ton. The Coins ordered a ton, pre-ordered. I was just spent a ton of time with the 5 Young Power Sports. They pre-ordered a ton of cars. So any dealer that pre-ordered cars that are in that 3,500 will get cars. There's not a lot. If we have 70 dealers, not all dealers were fortunate enough to get in on the early pre-orders, and those all happen after your cars are delivered, or after those 3,500, 4,000 cars are delivered. So if all of a sudden you see Coins customers get cars, or Bert's Mega Mall get cars, or Nash Power Sports, or Ride Now, they ordered, they're part of that 3,500 group. If you haven't ordered a car, you might want to talk to them because they have cars, potentially have cars available. We have been positioning that all new orders. We've been trying to help out customers. You know, obviously, as we've taken our time to do this right, things have changed in people's lives. You know, they've had crises in life and in financial and movement, and we've tried to accommodate everybody by reselling their cars for them. I don't think we've held on to a car for more than a day for someone who needed to get rid of a car. I look back at, and that leads to these comments on the internet. You know, I think I've been around long enough. I wouldn't look like I have been, but you know, if you take everything personal, I think you'll be an emotional wreck. I love the pats I get on my back as I travel and visit with dealers, and I'll tell you a great story. I've got to meet a lot of our dealers in person. Prior was a lot, or during COVID, it was a lot of phone calls, but getting to meet with sit down with the whole Young Power Sports group last week. One of the most amazing things was understanding what we do differently, and